I'm not used to these fancy mics,
Dude, I'm telling you, we had to step it up.
Mine were literally like Mickey Mouse mics, like the head of a Mickey Mouse.
You're like, literally. That's a term that a lot of people use. Like, I'm not going to Mickey Mouse this. It's like,
it was a
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Badass Agents Podcast, here recorded live on Facebook Live, and it is brought to you by AZ and Associates Real Estate Group. I'm going to invite you to go ahead and rate, subscribe, and review on your local podcast provider, and as well, look for us on YouTube. We got great content that'll make you a better business person, better marketer, and a better person overall. But I'm excited about today's show. You know, we bring on top producing agents. We bring on people that are continuing to push the envelope, and we talk about real life with real people in real estate. And today's guest is our very own, and I can say that again, our very own Dallas Andrews. Dallas, what's up, my brother? First I got to tell you, man, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Welcome back to AZ and Associates, and you joined a great team in the Luna team as well. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
And it's exciting to have you back, man. Now, before we get into our actual conversation, now you started with us about, 2 years ago? Two and a half years ago?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. And about a year and a half ago, you decided to leave us, man. Like, you came in and you're like, I got to go.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that, man.
It's a big year.
Yeah, it's a big year. Big, there's always going to be some challenges, but, we talked a little bit about this. When you have the mindset to continue to go, you're going to make something, out of it, right? And you have to follow your gut intuition on sometimes. So talk to us a little bit about what happened, man. Like during that time, things were going really good on the real estate side. Like things were progressing. You really came in and just really absorbed what we're all about, right?
Yeah.
One of the first things we say is you got to be a marketer, marketing sales systems, right? Marketing first and foremost. You took that bull by its horns and are just on it, dude. If you follow Dallas, you'll see what I'm talking about. But talk to me a little about what went on, man. What's going on and how we got you back.
You know what? I had to sit and think for a while, what made me want to leave. Because, looking back, I can come up with all these excuses. And really, you recommended me to read a book called The Big Leap. Then, because I couldn't figure out why would I leave. I was top 10 in the company. Yeah. I was only 2 years in real estate. I think I did $3 million in 1 month. Yeah. It was as insane. A new agent, I was like, what's going on right now? It's all just happening.
It's a huge change, right? Obviously, going into the real estate game, there's going to be some struggles, and then all of a sudden, things just started compounding for you, man. Mm-hmm. I saw that, and you had these huge months, and like you said, things were going really good, too good. So carry on, man.
I wasn't used to all this fast success, which it wasn't fast. It's just that when it happens, it all just happens, and it all just turns, and then it just unloaded on me, and then the money was flowing in, things were happening the way they were supposed to. I was trusting the process, and the process was actually working. Mm-hmm. And looking back, after when you asked me when I came back, it's what made you leave? When you really put your mind and think about what happened, what was what caused you to do that. And like I told you, I just realized what it was. It was an upper limit issue.
Upper limit. So for those that don't know what an upper limit is, we talk about this within our brokerage, is a common conversation. But how would you explain an upper limit?
An upper limit issue would be, when you do have this success and you feel that, something's not right. Things shouldn't be this good.
Yes.
I'm not used to this. My mind isn't used to this. Mm-hmm. My body, my world shouldn't be like this. Things are going too good. So what we do is we sabotage ourselves, mm-hmm. and we ruin it, or we take a couple steps back where we're and that's why if you look at any business, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whatever you're doing, you're going to have the ups and downs because, you're going to get the success, us humans, we sabotage it because we have the upper limit issue because we don't know that we have it.
We don't know. That's the key to this. It's not like we know, and some of us still do that. We knowingly know that we're self-sabotaging. We continue to go down that path. But for the most part, an upper limit is just not knowing, right? Not knowing that feeling good for an extended period of time is something that we should all get used to, you know. And it's hard sometimes, especially when there's always a history of struggle or a history of so many obstacles to go over, of unhappiness. We feel like that is life. So when things do go really good, or an influx of money, or maybe our relationships at home are going too good, we do things, we say things to like kind of like bring us back into our own reality, right?
I think the biggest thing, like what I had to realize, well, for myself, and I'm sure everybody else can agree that's been in this situation, is when we have a moment where you're coming up against an upper limit issue, it's all about just accepting it. You know, like this, I've earned this. You know, this is normal. You know, and once you're aware of that and you accept it, like this is okay, things can go good. And I think if you have that mindset going into it, the chances of you sabotaging yourself decrease. You know,
because there's two ways of this, right? One, it feels too good. And the other side of it is like, it's always going to be like this, right? A false sense of accomplishment. That's also another way to look at that, because I've been in many situations where I work so hard for something, I get the reward I was seeking, and all of a sudden I put my feet up like I've arrived. Like, you know, I stop pushing the same way I used to push. I stop, you know, getting as motivated or as intentional as I used to because of this false sense of accomplishment. So yes, there's one side that's like, oh, feels too good, and the other sense is like I've arrived. And both are very dangerous.
Yeah.
Both are very dangerous. Why? Because you take your foot off the gas pedal. And if you really think about it, Dallas, we talked about this. It's like, you know, what drives us as humans is really just having a target, things that we have to continually strive for, right? So if we don't look beyond our current targets, like you did, you had a few great quarters, but it was like, what's the next step there? Well, look at what the following quarter is going to be and how good I can get at that point. But at that point, we're like, well, you know, things are good.
It's always having the vision, you know, where I got to go to next.
Yes.
And it's, like I said, I hit an upper limit issue and I made some moves. I decided to leave the brokerage, and you know what? I felt like I was breaking up with like my family and stuff. It was hard. Like that transition was the hardest transition. And still today, I'm like, you know, I look back and there was lessons learned, you know, like this was the first brokerage I've ever been a part of in the 2 years that I was an agent, and I had nothing to compare it to. And I think there was a lot of lessons learned. The biggest one was the contrast lessons of, you know, now you don't know what you have until it's gone, right? Everyone's heard of that adage. And it's the culture is 100%. I've seen things out there and talked with a lot of people, and the culture, it's 100% like it. That's the driving force.
And it's authentic, right? Because I think everyone has got into this habit of just regurgitating what's out there, regurgitating what sounds good, regurgitate what might motivate, but truly living it comes off energetically different, right? And I think we can all feel that. And the thing that drives us is that we are doing the work. You know, we just don't say it. We live it, we breathe it, right? And we enjoy it. And that type of environment, when you have, you know, hundreds of agents kind of in that mindset, it really propels you to go after more. And so, yeah, it was one of those things, Dallas, where you didn't have anything to compare it to. And you're like, okay, well, you know, I think I got this. Business going good. I already have the mindset. And you venture off, and then you see that contrast. When did it really become evident to you, like, wow, that I do miss an environment like that?
I think it really, because it's actually been noticeable to me throughout this last year, just little pieces here and there. But as it starts building on itself and accumulating, I started noticing it was tapping into not just real estate, but into my fitness, my lifestyle with fitness, and then with relationships at home. Things are starting to not be on point like they were.
Yes.
Like, you know, like the balance. It's the whole balance. I noticed like it's like the legs were getting cut off from under me, and you know, I figured, you know, I have to make a change. You know, I see it's plain evident what's happening, and I see the direction I was going, and you either you're gonna go through the motions and keep going there, knowing like what's happening.
Yeah, like.
Or you're going to flip a switch. And I decided to flip a switch. And
Now, was that hard? Was that hard? Because because when we left off, what was my response when you told me, "Hey, I'm going somewhere else"?
you actually encouraged, like you were excited that I was doing. You were excited that I was out to a pioneer and an adventure and learn the world out there and see things for myself.
Yes.
That's kind of what I remember, and it was no tension or anything.
And that's always because here's the thing. I think where a lot of brokerages or team leads go wrong, because there is are they truly a leader or are they a tyrant type of thing, right? Because, and I'll tell you the difference between the two. I think when it's more of I'm in it for me, not for everyone else. I want you to succeed as long as you're within only my scope. I think that's a wrong way to lead, because we really go about preaching about self-discovery, right, and self-empowerment, and go with your the voice and your gut intuition. Just go out there and do it. So it would be very hypocritical of me to say, well, Dallas, no, like, look at all I did for you. Like, look at all you've learned. My conversation's never like that. It's like, if you felt that and you had that conversation with me, it's not something that you just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm out. You thought about that. Mm-hmm. My thing is just to say, hey, dude, like, I enjoyed your company, which I've told you many times. Thank you for being here. And if you ever find the door's always going to be open for you, type of thing. But even saying that, it was kind of still tough, right, to kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
Why was that? What do you think? Because I know there's a lot of agents that have come to the doors of Agent Associates, some left, and want to come back, but it's tough for them. Why is that, you think?
Well, with me, I don't like giving up on anything.
Yeah.
So where I was at with the brokerage I was at, I truly wanted to be like, make it work, make it be successful, because I don't like things not working out.
Yes.
Or I don't like giving up, or it's not that I don't like change. I just, when I put my mind to something, I have to finish it, or it's maybe it's like
it feels
ADD
uneasy,
or
right?
Something.
It feels uneasy. It feels like there's something left unfinished, type of thing. Yes.
So that was the hardest part, is because I don't like giving up, and but I knew things had to change. I knew what I was missing. Like I was telling you, I have something to compare where I came from to, and that's another thing. Within that last year and a half that I was gone, I had the opportunity to really meet with a lot of other individuals in the industry that work for different companies. Yeah. Really rub shoulders with them and kind of see it from the outside, looking in at AZ and Associates, so to speak, where seeing like how there's nothing that even comes close to like the culture here, and and just the support that we have here. It's remarkable.
I guess it is a different perspective, right? I mean, you think you understand AZ and Associates until you're actually out on it. Like, what was the biggest thing that kind of you saw that people thought of what we're about? So like, what is, because you mentioned something, they just don't know. It's not that, it's.
Yeah, it wasn't that they were unhappy or didn't like AZ and Associates, or what I've found, like the most common denominator was that they just didn't understand it. It's something that's, because it's not out there. I haven't found anyone else that has the culture and, that has the mindset and, what the agents go through here. I haven't seen it out there, and with a world of social media where everyone's just kind of blasting out there, I haven't seen it. And I think the biggest thing is it's just not knowing, and since they don't know, they don't understand.
Yes,
is really what.
Do you think there's intimidation factors on some that are kind of they see our stuff, they see your stuff, they see like Ruben Luna, our top producing agent here. They see different of our agents, let's say Jesse and Rio and all these guys that are just really pushing the envelope when it comes to like marketing and the rawness, right, of the conversations. Is there an intimidation factor, you think? I
think by default there is, just because we're coming from a different era where people are kind of more reserved. Social media is taking off. Yeah. People are, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're starting to come out more and be out there, and they realize, okay, this is, especially if you're going to run a business, you have to put yourself out there, the raw and the real. And I think the intimidating factor, it's just by default, because that's what we do. That's what we do here, is we're out there. Yeah. People know us. People know the agents here because they make that their priority. Yes. And I think just by default, with people not being used to that, of course, if just like when you go work out, when you're you've never trained before, it's going to feel weird and it's going to hurt. It's going to, your body is just going to be freaking out. Your mind's going to be freaking out. But as you start doing the reps and you start, being consistent, not only are you getting more comfortable, but you're understanding the process and to be successful.
Absolutely. And I think it has to come with a self-appreciation, right? Because we really talk about self-empowerment, self-appreciation. It's like really learn what you're made of, not what others want you to be, but like really appreciate who you are. Because we don't have people come in and say, all right, Dallas, I want you to be a certain way. I'm like, Dallas, just like be you. And it's all about you, like you and your family, and just put exposure on that. Like these spotlights, we got lights all over us right now. It's like turn that light and shine it bright on you. And you'll be surprised how many people will resonate with the Dallas of who he is day to day, not the Dallas that, is trying to posture to somebody or to something. And I think that's very powerful in itself. And you've done a great job of that, man. Like, it seems like your audience knows all of you, right? They know your personal life. They know, your wife. They know your kids, and it's so awesome because you bring everything into it.
It's funny. Me and my wife, we were at the store the other day, and some lady came up to us, and I think I was more weirded out than Sierra was. But she's like, oh, like she acted like she knew us, and we were talking, and she was like saying key things in our life, and she's like she was there, and when we dispersed. Me and Sierra looked at each other, and I was like, I don't know who that was. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know who he was either.
And I think we fail to realize the impact we can all make.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's just giving yourself permission to be like, hey, like, I'm okay if I bring this out, the stuff that maybe I've tried to hide all my entire life. If I bring out my like we're all dysfunctional beings. If I maybe bring a little bit of that and shine a light on that, of the stuff I'm maybe not as proud of, maybe the stuff that embarrassed me, maybe the stuff that shamed me, and just put it all out there. But if you can see who I was and who I am today, maybe you can appreciate. People get to trust you, right? And I've put my, I don't want to say I've aired out my dirty laundry, but the reality is I have no shame anymore in that. And there's a saying out there. The most powerful man in a room is the one that has nothing to hide, right? And if we take that approach, and I think that's very relevant with real estate, because it is changing. It's still very much, it is tech driven, but it's still a very much personable type of situation. And people want to know more about you than ever before. They just don't want to know the suited and booted type of, agent that you are that always shows professional. They want to know what's beyond that.
That actually makes me think of something. When I first started here as a real estate agent, it was my first week.
Yeah.
And, I made that post like, hey, guys, I made an industry change. I'm now a real estate agent,
Yes.
brand new real estate agent, out of the gate. And then I had people in the industry reach out to me and be like, no, you worded that wrong. Don't make it look like you're brand new in the industry. Like, why would you do that? You should have worded it that you've been in the industry for a while and you're a pro at this. So that way there people are more apt to use you. But I didn't see it that way. I saw it like they're seeing my beginning, and now they can track my progress.
And that's the thing. The problem is, and that's why sustainability is so wrong, because people want to posture right up from the beginning. But the key to this is to speak from where you're at. You got to speak from where you're at. That's where the true authenticity is. You can't be raw and then make up some lies, because now it's compounded on on lies upon lies upon lies, and it's like, what story do you believe? And I think that's very important for you to just say, hey, I'm new to the industry. Watch my journey, right? And you see that a lot. When people can follow your journey, a fitness journey, or a journey on preparing for a triathlon, like people stay connected with that, right? Like I did my first triathlon. I'm not a swimmer. I'm not a runner, but I've conditioned myself. And I can say that very proudly and confidently now that I will run circles around most people, in this industry or in general, right?
I remember going on my first bike ride with all you guys.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was in for, by the way. 14 miles.
Yes.
We did 14 miles my first time.
Yes.
And, I wasn't up there running with the pack like you guys. I was a little bit behind, but I finished.
Yes.
Didn't call an Uber. I finished all the way. And I had people reach out to me like, wow, that was for your first ride, 14 miles, that's impressive, because I've never done that before, and it's not like I do a whole lot of cardio. I just remember that I did a selfie video because you told me do a video, document it, and I did that, and I still have that video, and I look at it, and I'm just like, man, like, if I can do that, I can do anything.
And that's the key to it. Documenting your journey is huge, but don't don't lie to your audience. You're going to get called out and it's going to be embarrassing, right? It's like going into a relationship, knowing you're hiding stuff. It's going to blow up in your face, right? And if you can speak from where you're at and be, raw, real, and vulnerable about it, people want others to succeed. They really do. But if you're posturing and putting out a big game when that's not the reality yet, it's like you're setting up yourself for failure. And the key to all this, for those of you that are looking to really shine a light on your situation, on your business, is to speak from where you're at. Don't speak to the level that somebody else is in the office if that's not where you're at. Don't come at this like you're selling $30 million when you're barely on your first 3 transactions. It's like, just speak from where you're at, and you will attract those individuals that want to see you succeed. And hey, listen, like everyone has a different methodology, but I'm going to challenge you the methodology we teach here has been proven time and time again to work. You don't believe me? Like, look at the numbers. They're black and white. But here's the thing. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it of what the power of a great environment has to do with your success. Don't take Dallas's word for it. I want you to listen to this. Listen to this quick clip of some of our agents here at AZ & Associates. Take a look. Mm-hmm. What would you tell those agents that are on the fence about joining AZ & Associates?
Best decision I've made in my life.
There's no other brokerage where you can get this level of training and support.
I like that we focus on all different aspects of life. It's just not real estate.
But having somebody that's on your team that's going to keep you accountable.
They constantly seem to show up with some different information just when I think that they've showed me everything.
And you're not crushing Facebook stories and Instagram stories, and you're not doing a podcast. You're leaving money on the table.
You've turned into not just a brokerage, a multimedia just powerhouse.
Of having it all, right? Not just getting the next paycheck, but having a life that was on fire on all aspects.
How long is it going to take you? A year? By all means, work your ass off for a year.
Mindset you had where it's just be humble, coachable, honest, like just do the right things, right?
I'm surrounded by business-minded individuals who are focused on growing their business and helping their clients.
All right. Thank you for that. Man, that was an abrupt little transition there, but it's all good. You got the gist of it. And we're here again, if you're just tuning in, we're here with Mr. Dallas Andrews. And, this guy has turned into a social media consultant. So tell me a little bit about that, man. So over the year, a lot has changed. Now, I'm not to say you made the change and moved, but some great things happened as well. I mean, I know you were preparing for your marriage when you were first here. You got married. So congratulations to you. You're newlywed still, right? Well, what is that now? Is it a full year yet?
August. It'll be
August
18th.
Oh, newlywed, dude. Straight up newlywed. And you also opened up your own business, right? Talk to me a little bit about Exposed Media. What is it exactly?
Yeah, so that year or whatever, I was out of here. A lot has happened. We bought a house. We became homeowners.
First time home buyers.
We were renting for a while, and we bought a house. We got married, and man, let me tell you, never been married before, but for all these things have to happen to come together on one day that just lasts a few hours, and then it's done.
It's done. It's like, we just paid all this money to entertain everybody else except ourselves.
Yeah, and then obviously I moved real estate companies, and let me tell you that transition, it consumed a lot of me. I want to say I lost a good month of being productive just because it was the transition and the mindset and
getting used to new surroundings, a lot going on in your personal life.
Exactly.
But like I said before, when you have the mindset, you're going to keep moving forward. And that's the thing that I really appreciate seeing is that you kept moving forward. Even those just challenges were immense sometimes, even though maybe the environments weren't as positive as you would like, you still kept moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And then I started the business Exposed Media.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a business we started. I started it and it just kind of sat there. And what actually got me to think about doing this is I did all my own marketing as a realtor when I was with the brokerage here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had realtors reach out to me. I've had other companies and other industries reach out to me saying, "Hey, how you doing your videos? Who's doing your marketing? Like realtors, who's doing these marketing flyers for you?" And I was like, "Well, I'm doing it. I do everything on my own." "Are you sure you're not using a title company or this or that?" And I was like, "No, I'm doing everything on my own." So it really got me to think there's such a need out there for it, just to have great content and I've always been, that's just kind of been a fun thing for me, is creating content.
Yes, it's fun. Isn't
Not
it?
even for business, but just putting it out there.
It's almost like documenting. You're leaving something for your kids. You really are,
Right.
and their kids and their kids. And when you document what's going on in your life right now, I would love to have seen what my dad was up to, what his thought process was, right? When he was 30 years old, 35, 40. It's like, we don't have any of that. At least I don't. I only know him as the dad. I didn't see him in his personal life, his ambitions and everything else. And you really are leaving a legacy behind by doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't realize what type of a gym I had until I started, going to these networking groups. And there's one where I've been kind of rubbing shoulders with these entrepreneurs. It's an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're top producers in their industries. I mean, I think just to be in the group, the business has to bring in $1 million a year, and that's the lowest level. And they have different levels going up from there. But these guys, in here, they have they don't have time to produce the content, but they know
how
the
important
value.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
they know the
absolutely.
value. So it's a no-brainer. It's the typical client for me with what we do is we help people create fire content. So I like to consider us as thumb stoppers. You're going through your news feed, and all of a sudden you're stopping your thumb. You're like, whoa, because it caught your attention.
Right.
Great content. And I say this to all my clients. Our motto is kind of good marketing, makes the company look smart, but great marketing makes the customer feel smart.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the motto we live by. And if it's all about putting yourself out there, educating your audience, because we're all on a stage, right?
Yes.
You're on a stage, I'm on a stage, and our audience is completely different. But I want my audience to know that I'm the expert in real estate. So I put so much educational and great content out there that if they need to buy or sell a house, or they come across somebody in their life that has to, by default, like subconsciously, they think of me because
Absolutely.
they're constantly seeing me and they're relating to the content. They're getting smarter from it.
And that's so important. I mean, it's something that I think we all need to be aware of. Is like, when you decide not to market, when you decide not to put content out there, it really is, because this has become a virtual world. It's still, like I said, a very person-to-person type industry, but fueled by the virtual side, right? And if you don't if you don't put yourself out there, and you decide to go a day, 2 days without putting anything out there, it really is taking that open sign on your business to closed. Like, you're really not serving the clientele base. That's why it's so important, whether you feel like it or not, to continue to put that content out there, because there's so much going at your audience, right? At your target market, coming from every angle. And the whole point is that we all understand that, attention equals currency. Attention is the new currency. And if our job is to continue to be out there on the forefront. So like you said, when somebody's thinking of buying or selling, they're going to think about Dallas Andrews. Why? Because he's on there relentlessly. And that's kind of the advantages you actually give your client, right? When you list a home for sale, it's not just like put it in the MLS. You use all your resources to
Absolutely.
really give them the advantage of not only getting the deal under contract quickly, but for the most money. And that's the strategy.
When I put on the real estate hat,
Yeah.
because real estate I do full time, that's what I have exposed media there to help me,
It's
with the marketing that it needs to get it sold faster, or to help get those buyers get their attention. Like, if they're on the fence, they've been renting for a long time, but they just don't understand the process. It's easier than they think.
Right.
And a lot of times, like, I just helped a renter. He's been renting his whole life. And I think he's almost in his 40s.
Wow.
And he's like, we finally got him a home, and he's like, I didn't realize it was, I could have bought a home probably 20 years ago.
Right.
And I was like, imagine that equity, or imagine that momentum you've created from, the appreciation, the equity. And,
But I see even a step bigger. Like, if it wasn't for you taking the lead and providing that value out there, he would have probably been a 50-year-old before he ended up buying a house.
Maybe never bought a home.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, because you actually put that stake on the ground and say, hey, I am going out there and I'm going to deliver value through my content. I'm going to deliver all this. You're actually helping more people. It's almost like you're taking full responsibility, right? To make sure that people out there, the clientele base out there, buyers and sellers, are going to the right agent. And it's so important. And I've said this before, when we talk about what is the number one threat to the real estate industry, a lot of people always think, well, it's the technology companies, it's this, that, or the other. In fact, no, that's by far not the reason. As a matter of fact, those companies have made us better, right? Mm-hmm. The number one threat to our industry is incompetent, untrained agents, right? People that just got their license and are doing this part-time or not as passionate and are going by the, by the seat of the pants. They're just kind of like not even investing in their business. So your job, you're coming in here and saying, hey, I'm going to provide you the value so that you know to go to the right person as opposed to getting stuck with somebody that's going to make you unhappy or deliver the wrong results for you. And that is like the stance you've taken on by marketing so much.
Yeah, and you know what? We're having fun doing it. We help a lot of our clientele is real estate agents. Mm-hmm. We have a landscaper. We just got a chiropractor. We have an awesome pool company, and believe it or not, our landscaper and our pool company have been on the local news channels, a few different times, because the news, they want to cover segments, and then when they think of a landscaper or a pool company to invite on to their news channel to interview an expert, they see the content out there and they're assuming they're an expert, right? Because they see all that content and how educational it is and just how on point it is that they get reached out to by the news companies.
And the reality is that they're good at what they do.
Right.
But without that additional exposure, somebody that's less qualified may be able to get that. And that's why it's so important that marketing become the forefront of your business.
So the key things for when we're creating content for our clients is we have the KLT specifications that we follow, which is know, like, trust. Mm-hmm. How is anybody going to get to know you if you're not putting yourself out there?
Right.
They're not just going to all of a sudden just wake up and like, oh, I know this guy now. No, they have to see you out there to get to know you, and they get familiar and comfortable with you, and then they start liking you.
Yep.
And once the content starts relating to them, and they're really getting value from your content, then they start trusting you. And once you got the T for trust, that's when you start earning the business.
That's how you grow any business, right? Mm-hmm. And the key to this is like, I see the mistake all the time with agents coming into the industry. They want to market to the masses. Guess what? The masses don't care about you. The ones that are really going to propel your business moving forward are those that know, like, and trust you already. So the key to that is to target that market consistently, right? And your job is to get more people to know you, to like you, and to trust you. But a lot of agents come into here and they're trying to be like this statewide known agents. Like, dude, you're messing this up. You're going to quit.
Riches in the niches.
Yeah. And they're going to completely fall by the wayside. And how can they find you on social media, Dallas?
So believe it or not, like we talked about this, like when I start something, I go. I don't have to wait for the world or the settings to be perfect. So literally, like one of my business coaches was looking at me. He's like, "Wait, you bought polos before you even got a website, or before you?" I was like, "Yeah, because when I'm going to go meet people, I need to, to look like I'm in business, right?" So our website it's actually just getting created today.
Good.
But they can, go to.
But nowadays, man, social media itself is like it really is your webpage. Like, I don't go to individuals' webpage. I go to their social media sites to learn more about them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think there's that for a lot of realtors and mortgage brokers and insurance agents. Like, don't think that a website necessarily is going to like change the dynamic of your business. Like, even Dallas was able to build something just basically off of the social media. Yeah, polos and social media, right? And the branding aspect of it. I think websites nowadays is just an additional form for people to.
It's a business card.
Yeah, it is really a business card, and like we all know, business cards are they're almost obsolete. I don't even carry them anymore. I'm like, airdrop me your information.
Yeah. So we have 12. Actually, we have 13 clients now because I just got one yesterday, but 13 clients. And we actually hit the play button for this business in January. So all the clients we have came to me. I haven't done any marketing except like right now on this podcast.
Well, I'm looking at your page. You've done plenty of freaking marketing.
I haven't been out there, here's exposed media, here's exposed media. We do marketing for everybody else, but I would say if they need help with marketing and they want, we do consultation to create content for them. we can sit down with them. But they can find us on social media, Facebook or Instagram.
Good.
It's under Exposed Media.
Exposed Media. Go ahead and find them again on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm looking through it. A lot of great stuff, dude. I love it.
And our website will be live soon, which they'll get a lot more information. That way there, I don't have to go meet them to give them all the details.
Yes.
Like I said, it's a business card that actually explains in detail like what we offer.
Good.
But the website's going to be getexposednow.com.
Love that, man. That works. Well, Dallas, man, it's good having you back, brother. It really is. And I told you this before. Like I forgot about how deep our conversations actually go every time we get together. And so welcome back. And you mentioned something. Our very first meeting was like a 3-hour conversation, right?
Yeah. So when I first got my real estate license, I went on Facebook and I blasted, hey, got my license. Is there any brokers that's looking for a hungry agent? And I've had, you can imagine that post blew up.
Right.
I had 50 people, different brokers from all these different companies. But you reached out to me in private message, and you said something that nobody else said is, hey, interview as many of these you can. Matter of fact, the more the better, but promise to leave us for last. And I was like, I can do that. That's easy. So I did that, and then we finally met. We did our one-on-one, which is supposed to be, I believe, an hour.
Yeah.
The Vision Quest meeting.
Vision Quest meeting, yes.
But next thing you know, we went into deep on both of our personal lives, and we were looking at the time, and like, it's almost 3 hours.
Yes.
And I was like, weren't we supposed to talk about real estate?
But that's the key to all this. I think we all understand that in order to be successful in the industry, in real estate, we have to have that strong foundation. If we're in a marriage, we still have to show up powerfully in our marriage. And if we're not living a healthy lifestyle, if we're just shoving junk down our faces and not watching our stress levels, it's only temporary. Any success you get is only temporary. So we really focus on the foundations and what are the personal things that may keep you back from succeeding in your business life. And I think a lot of our conversation went down that path.
When I told Sierra, my wife, when I first gave her the news that I'm going back, like it was set in stone. Like you should have seen the look on her face, like the joy.
Yes.
She's like, you're gonna be back to the person that you were. Like,
that's awesome, man.
I showed up at home. I showed up in the gym. I showed up for my business, and she liked that person. I like that person, and I miss that person. And that's the person that I'm striving for.
Yes,
to get
man.
back there.
I got goosebumps just hearing that because. There's our wives always want to see a powerful man, and a committed and intentional man. I just got a text from my wife, and I'm just like, tearing. And I've been with Carla for 20 years, and to just get these messages, it's because I'm doing the work on my end. I'm as invested in my marriage as I am in this business, and it's funny because my business really started taking off when I refocused on my personal life, on my health, and really connecting with my daughters and being there for like all this guilt of not being there like was weighing me down. And by simply being there, it like propelled my business to a whole entire different level. And Sierra wants to see that powerful person. She knows what you're capable of. That's why she married you. She didn't marry some bum off the street, right? Yeah. She married a guy that she knows she saw something in you. And our job is like these women have these foresights, a foresight of they know what you're capable of, right? That's who they fall in love with, of this person that's going to continue to strive and move forward. And sometimes we lose ourselves. Sometimes we don't even believe it. And the thing is, like, I don't think I've ever would be here if Carla didn't have that relentless, support of knowing who I can become. And Sierra wants it, like,
yeah. As guys, I say guys, but this is what I like from my wife. She knows the love languages, but I like hearing, hey, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Like I like that fires me up.
Yes.
And she knows what fires me up. She knows what doesn't. So she likes the person that I was, and she loves bragging about me to me that, hey,
that's
keep
awesome,
going.
man.
You're doing a great job.
I love Sierra, man. I love your family. Great people, and I'm glad you guys have been connected. Even when you left, there was still a connection there, and that engagement, and it was only a matter of time, And I'm proud of you, man, for making that move, and reaching out to Ruben, and making your way back here to A's and Associates. Now I want to tell you something, man. What would you say to those individuals that are not where they want to be, or maybe just getting started or been in the business 10 years and are thinking about joining A's and Associates, man, what would you tell them?
I would say just, be honest with yourself. Know exactly where you are. See the trends. If there's a place where you want to be and you're not there, and you notice you don't see any direction or any progress of getting there, maybe taking a step back and looking at your world in a whole. And it's all about putting your mind there. Like, what would that be like? So, like, if they're thinking about coming to AZ and Associates, really put that into your mind. Like, think about what would it be like if I was a part of a culture like that. How would people perceive? How would people look at me? How would I look at myself? How would it change me? When you start putting your mindset there already and living in there, you'll start noticing that the universe will start conforming to those thoughts and those beliefs. But you really got to imagine it. If it's really what you want to do, give it a shot. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly, and oftentimes it's just that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to, if you have that feeling, because we've kind of measured that. It's like, how long have you been thinking about coming to A's and Associates before you actually pulled the trigger? And it's well over a year and a half, 2 years in some situations. And they finally come around. They're like, why didn't I do this back then?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to encourage you. Like, if you've really been thinking about A's and Associates, there's other options. There's a lot of great brokerages out there. But, striving for that have-it-all lifestyle is the foundation of A's and Associates. And it's something that will change and impact your life in all aspects, right? Not just one. There's no question you're going to make more money. There's no question you're going to be successful in the real estate game. But can you sustain it? So building a foundation that is meant for you to sustain it over a long period of time. Because I'm here to play this game for years, because I've built the capacity mentally, physically, emotionally with my family. And it's one of those things where you can do the same. Mm-hmm. So if you continue to hit that ceiling, or are not motivated, or not seeing the progression in your business, I'm going to encourage you to go to badassagents.com. Check out all that content. I have a lot of free content. Subscribe to my podcast. Even if you don't make it through, just get in that mindset. The next step is to actually apply. There's a simple applications, ask you some questions regarding your marketing, sales systems, where you want to be, and fill that out, and you will have a conversation with me, one-on-one. And I take that time. And it may take 3 hours like I had here with Dallas, but you'll see that the conversation alone will change your perspective moving forward. That's how powerful and how deep we get into that. But let me go ahead and have you see what others are saying about A's and Associates. Check this out.
It is such a blessing to be around these agents.
I would not, and I can say that with everything that I have, I would not have been able to sell what I did in my first year of real estate had I gone anywhere else.
So take your fears, unlock a new belief system that it's possible for you, and just go.
Join AZ and Associates.
Dude.
You know it.
Yeah, that's it,
I know
bro.
it.
And you want it all. You want to have a better life, family life, personal life, everything. Come here.
Come in, be ready to do the work.
Yeah.
Be ready to do the reps. It's not hard work. It's consistent work. And if you're able to be consistent, you can build the business with what you're given here.
So understand when I tell you this, if you want to be successful, this is the place you want to be at.
This is badass. You just gotta do the work. Was that good?
All right. You heard there from, and you may know them. These guys have taken their personal branding and, their business to another level. And I'm excited for you, Dallas. Like, you've got a good foundation there. Now you got that fire behind you. You got that army behind you to really continue to remind you. And I think that's an important component to this, is to remind you of what you want, right? It's never what I want for Dallas. It's like, what does Dallas want for Dallas? And being able to give you the support and environment that'll help you get there. And sometimes the conversation is not about business. Sometimes it is about personal life. Sometimes it is about marriage, kids, and everything else. But we know by taking care of these elements, it's just going to propel you to the next level, man.
Yep.
So again, go ahead and tell your clients, your real estate clients, how they can reach you. And for those that are looking for social media assistance, go ahead and plug that in, man.
Yeah, so for real estate, if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest, I'm part of the Luna team now. And I actually wanted to say this because Ruben always, he's said this a couple of times, is, it comes to a point where you want to get off the sideline and start being a player.
Yes.
Well, that's honestly, if you're feeling like, you need to make a change, like, and you're on the sideline, it's time to make a change and be a player. So that's really what motivates me to be a player in all aspects of my life.
Everything. I love it.
So you can reach me if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest. Dallas@soldbytlt.com is my email. My website is dallas.soldbytlt.com. But I mean, you can look me up on Facebook, Instagram under Dallas Andrews. You can, private message me, and I always get the notifications. So,
and you respond quickly, man, and you will deliver. And so, for those of you that are looking to reach out to work with Dallas, either on the marketing space or in the real estate space, reach out to him.
Yeah, and
he will deliver.
For the marketing, it just exposed media on Facebook or Instagram. What I've noticed is most people have just been direct messaging us if they have questions or if they want to move forward.
Beautiful. Well, Dallas, I want to thank you again for being our guest on Badass Agents Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And no, it was a pleasure, man. Great conversation. I'll bring you back again so we can dive into other aspects of what's going on in life in general. And again, as a reminder, if you've been interested in joining AZ & Associates, go to badassagents.com. We just revamped our website, and it has a lot of great content for you to grow as not only as a business, but as a marketer in your personal life, to really set a foundation that is going to carry you on for years to come. So please, and also if you want to get additional information, you can subscribe to our updates. And I send out personal content as well, things that I don't put on social media. So you're more than welcome to sign up for that if you're a small business owner in the mortgage space and lending, insurance, whatever it may be. If you're a straight up entrepreneur, that's what we're about, building the mental capacity to carry on through all the obstacles that we face as entrepreneurs. So again, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Badass Agents, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone.